Today, we're going to have a conversation about killing the nice guy. What is up, guys? My name is Zuri Vankevich, and on this channel, we speak about things like growth, spirituality, getting what you want, confidence, and living a powerful living experience. And the reason I want to talk about this is I was in the Colombian jungle for 4 days at this luxury hotel, overlooking this river, and we had this hot tub conversation with a group of friends. And a lot of it was, around being able to approach women on the street and just, versus online dating versus meeting girls through, your network or being introduced to them. And one of the guys said that, oh yeah, I just don't believe, walking up and approaching women is the best way to ultimately make connections. And I'm like, I wholeheartedly disagree. And we had this whole discussion. And what came from it, right, is what shapes our paradigm of life is our worldview, right, and how in our own experience and how we look at the world through our lens. And for a lot of my adolescent, teenage experience, the lens that I had was not a very good one, meaning that I used to look at the world as if I wasn't good enough. I didn't have a whole lot of self-respect as a teenager. And I portrayed and acted ways of confidence, but I didn't actually feel that way inside. And what that transmuted to is a lot of nice guy energy. So what is a nice guy, right? I think most guys, I'd actually go ahead and say the majority of guys do suffer from nice guy syndrome. Now, big differentiator, nice guys are not to get mixed up with being a good guy or a good dude. Nice guy energy is approval-seeking behavior. It's not standing up for yourself. It is letting people walk over you. It's letting go of your preferences in groups of people to be liked, right? So it's at the end of the day, it's you don't feel good about yourself enough, so you will take other people's opinions of you and you'll try and work your way up instead of a good guy, on the other hand, makes good decisions. They show up in the world powerfully. They're assertive. They believe in themselves. And ultimately, that is a much more masculine, divine masculine way of living than being a nice guy where you're just walking around life trying to get everybody to like you. And I've been that guy. And there's a lot of things that you can do to work on this, right? So the problem with being a nice guy, there's this really good book called No More Mr. Nice Guy by Donald Glover. I think that's his name. I read it once or twice. And that book shook my whole paradigm because I just felt like I was being called out on a grand scale immediately from the first chapter. And what is it is nice guys are manipulative, which is kind of interesting because if you think about what a nice guy means, it's nice guys, they're good guys. No, nice guys are manipulative, especially in the context of relationships with women and their dating life. In order to get what they want, they try and put out what he calls covert contracts. Hey, I want some love and affection, or I want a foot massage. I'm going to give my partner a foot massage. I'm going to do that, and in hopes that she gives me a foot massage back. But if she doesn't give it to me, I'm going to be passive aggressive. I'm going to ultimately be mad at her and just start drama. Not masculine at all, especially not divine masculine. Whereas a confident guy would say, hey, babe, I've been walking around on my feet all day, had a really long day. Would you mind giving me a foot massage? How much better does that sound? And the energy behind that than trying to covert contract or manipulate your way to getting a foot massage. And that foot massage can be a metaphor for anything, if you know what I mean. And women hate this. Women are absolutely turned off by it. It is so much more attractive to just ask for what you want. But so many guys are scared to ask for what they want because if they're rejected, they're going to make it mean something about themselves, that they're not worthy or nobody ever, gives me what I'm worth, or they just don't feel good enough. And this is a practice, right? So it's when little things come up, there's a bajillion examples, but it's just practicing standing up for yourself, and it's practicing being assertive. I was not an assertive person, 8 years ago, right? And Now it comes so much more naturally because of practice, because of the work that I've done on myself. And there's a lot of different ways to cure the nice guy. One, read that book, No More Mr. Nice Guy by Donald Glover. That'll shake you up if you have any of these people-pleasing, nice guy tendencies. The other thing is, what was really transformational for me is I joined a men's group, and I got coaching. The men's group was really, really powerful. I used to drive like an hour each way from the city I was living in to Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, and that men's group was super, super transformational. One, I was the youngest guy at the time. This was like pre-COVID, 2019, 2018. Every Monday night, I'd drive down, we'd have this conversation, and it's just really authentic. You know, you get a lot of feedback from guys. Some of those guys are 3 times my age, and hearing the kind of life experience, you kind of just share what's going on with you, and you get direct feedback from it in a very masculine environment, meaning that there's no sugarcoating. And if there is sugarcoating, we have a conversation about it, and we do exercises to make sure that there isn't sugarcoating, and we just drop all the bullshit, all the BS, and just go in with each other and just keep it 100% real. And the power in that is when you're with a group of guys that do keep it 100% real, you start looking in your own life of areas that you are not keeping it real. And the problem with a lot of nice guys is they're not keeping it real. They're not keeping it real with themselves, their own desires, their own interests, their own agendas, and they're not keeping it real with other people, right? And honestly, it's like such needy energy. Like when I get like the jitters when I think about how I used to show up. And here's the thing, guys, it's not really, I don't want to say it's anyone's fault, but it isn't your fault if you're going through that, right? It's like you're trying to navigate your way through the world the best way that you know how. The problem is there's a way better way to live powerfully, to live more assertive, to have what it is that you want, to start attracting good people, good things in your life. But it doesn't come from that needy energy. It doesn't come from that approval-seeking energy that so many guys are plagued with. And yeah, all I can say is the experience of life now, after doing that inner work of eliminating and killing the nice guy and becoming a good dude, it feels so much better. It's so much more refreshing to be a good dude versus a nice guy. And I'll say this as well, your experience with women will absolutely transform because they'll feel safe around you. Like, I remember in the experiences dating with girls with like that foot massage example, when you can communicate clearly what it is that you want, your desires in and out of the relationship, it just makes women feel so safe. And the problem is if you don't communicate that and you're doing these little things to ultimately get what you want in a way that's not very clear, and if you don't get it, then you're kind of upset, both people are unhappy. You're unhappy because you're not getting what you want, but it's your fault because you weren't clear in communicating that. And you can't be mad at the other person for not giving it to you. That's like very childish. It's very immature and emotionally manipulative at the end of the day. There's way better ways to get what you want. And a lot of that just comes from self-worth, self-respect, and confidence in being clear about that. So I hope this was helpful. Couple key takeaways is if anything of what I'm saying resonates with you, read the book, No More Mr. Nice Guy. If you have read it, what was your biggest takeaway from that book? I feel like I could make a few videos just on this topic. And the other thing is if there's a local men's group around you, feel free to look into one of those, give it a shot. It might feel weird if you're not used to that kind of stuff, especially if the majority of people in your life aren't keeping it real with you or you're not keeping it real with them. It might feel very uncomfortable or tense, but that tension is what your edge is, and that's where your growth is going to be, and that's where you can make drastic shifts in your experience of life. And then, if you need help with that, I do have some resources depending where you are. There's some online men's groups as well. I'm in one of those and been kind of stepping up and leading one of those. Been really, really transformative for a lot of guys. So comment below. We'll see if I can help you out at all, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.